Now, the mother of a severely disabled 11-year-old boy is suing a theme park in Cornwall, claiming it hasn't provided toilet facilities which are suitable for his needs. Adam George has autism and was born with a genetic condition that weakens his muscles, affects his speech and makes him a full-time wheelchair user. This issue of a lack of loos suitable for disabled people is something this programme has been exploring for some time now. You may well remember Anne Wafulu's strike story. Now, she is a Paralympian, she's an athlete of course, who was forced to wet herself on a train because there was no accessible toilet, and she met others facing similar problems. Here's a short extract of her film.
Set, go.
My name is Anne Wafula Strike. I am a Paralympian. I have an MBE. But last year I was forced to wet myself on a train because the accessible toilet was out of order. It was one of the most humiliating experiences of my life. And it turns out this is not just an issue on trains. People with disabilities are having problems accessing toilets everywhere, and some are being forced to take extreme action. Mani has spinal muscular atrophy. 2 years ago, she chose to have a permanent catheter fitted because there was nowhere for her to go to the toilet while out.
They create a hole just beneath your belly button to put the tube through into your bladder.
I just can't believe that you actually opted to have an operation without any medical needs, really.
Yeah, no medical need. I wasn't incontinent. My urologist called it socially incontinent, where basically he meant like I was incontinent when I was out because I couldn't go to the toilet because there wasn't the facilities there.
Before the operation, Mani needed a host to go to the toilet. There are some toilets people with severe disabilities like her can use, but campaigners say there aren't enough of them. They are called changing places toilets. There are only around 1,000 across the UK, and it is estimated 250,000 people need to use them. Some parts of the country have none. Meanwhile, the state of standard disabled toilets is still hit and miss. Recent research suggests as many as 40% of restaurants and 30% of shopping centres don't have disabled loos.
Anne Wafulu's strike with that report. Well, joining us now is Rachel George, Adam's mum, who's taking legal action against Flambards in Cornwall, and also our legal affairs correspondent Clive Coleman. So first of all, Clive, what are the legal obligations for a theme park?
Well, not just a theme park. Under the Equality Act 2010, every service provider, so that's shops, restaurants, hairdressers and theme parks, are under a duty to make reasonable adjustments to ensure that so far as possible the experience that a disabled person gets enjoying that service is as near to as it can be that of a non-disabled person. So this case is really very fascinating, I think, because it really poses the question, what is a reasonable adjustment? Because in this case, Flambards do have some facilities. They do have a hoist, not as powerful a hoist as is required for Adam, and they do have a changing table, but it really points up the issue, what is reasonable in terms of costs? Because Flambards say that to put in a full changing places facility would cost them in excess of £40,000. I think Rachel disputes that sum, but they say that could impact jobs. So they said they have made some adjustments. The question now, I guess, is for a judge to determine whether what they've done is reasonable in meeting the needs of disabled people and people like Adam.
Rachel, thank you for speaking to us this morning. Just tell us a little bit about Adam's needs.
Firstly, Adam has the needs of a boy. He's 11 and he needs to move, play and experience life. He is disabled and he does need a hoist to get to the toilet. He needs a hoist to lift him from his wheelchair and a changing table to lie down on to sort his clothes, switch over to using a toileting sling, which looks a little bit like a climbing harness for Adam, and then hoist him on to the toilet. With a ceiling hoist and a full-size bench, I can do that with him by myself. He doesn't need carers in the room. One adult will suffice. And it's very dignified and it's very safe.
And how many places that you visit regularly have these kind of facilities?
We tend to mainly only visit the places that have those facilities. And for those that don't, we've been taking our own toilet facility. We hire a facility from a community interest company called Mobiloo, who drive it down from Gloucestershire so that Adam can have a day out. It costs us £360, so obviously places that Adam really desperately wants to go to, like Flambards, are places that we can't go to very often, and we need to plan it weeks in advance without knowing what the weather might be like or what else might crop up.
Now, anybody listening to you will absolutely understand why you want these facilities for your son, because you want him to have those days out. But what about the issue that Clive raised, that Flambards are saying it's going to cost between £40,000 and £60,000 to install a toilet? From a small business point of view, that's a huge amount of money.
Firstly, Flambards isn't a small business. The company that owns Flambards owns more than one theme park. They don't advertise small in any way. They advertise themselves as Cornwall's largest theme park. Secondly, I'm not quite sure where they've got the £40,000 figure from. There's a company called Porter Cabin that actually make ready-to-go changing places toilets, and theirs coming up under £30,000, and they can literally put it in place and plumb it in. But if you've got a room with a toilet and a basin already there, you can get ceiling hoists fitted and you can get a changing table in. It really isn't difficult. There's a local charity in Cornwall called BF Adventure, who we approached at the very end of February about this because Adam wanted to go there. They didn't know about this need. They immediately got their CEO to get in touch. We met him on the 8th of March and he took it all on board and he said, this needs to be done, but we don't have the money. By the 8th of April, they had the money sorted and the ceiling hoist went in last week and the changing table is going in next week.
Rachel, thank you.
For £9,000.
Thank you very much for that. I'm pleased we managed to get that figure in at the end. Rachel, thank you for speaking to us. Thank you also to Clive.